My name is Carrie. I came to Calculus House at the age of 8 months. I clearly remember Clemens leading me from the basement of the amphitheater where I used to live since I was born to Calculus' great house. We walked on another street and passed by a place where a lot of people would give me a compliment. What a handsome dog. Later I knew it's a place called Therma where people entertain and have social life. Calculus' house was huge. It was much brighter than the basements where I used to live. Calculus let me sleep on a small rock near where other slaves live. All the family members treat me very nicely, so do all the slaves. Every day I get up and have my first meal after Calculus' breakfast at the door of the dining room. He never gives me bad food, and I always feel energetic early in the morning. At the time of Solutio, I greet all the clients and visitors with Calculus at the hallway. I stay in the living room shortly, then I walk back to Fawcett's again. I spend about 3 hours resting on the streets. In the afternoon, Calculus takes me for a walk, which is the reason why I'm always in shape. I always bark at Calculus to express my thanks before he goes to bed, which makes me feel he understands what I'm saying. Just 2 weeks ago, I was woken up by a strange sound at midnight. I felt the sound was round near the ocean. I barked at Calculus and all slaves. They touched my hand and expressed their confidence that nothing was wrong. I could clearly feel that something would happen in the following couple of days. After several days, at noon, I felt the tremor in the house, and there was a loud noise. The dark blue sky turned brighter, but with huge black dust coming out from the mountain. A huge noise woke up everybody at snap. I rushed out of the house and suddenly knew that a disaster was coming, the same feeling I had several days ago. However, it was a million times more intense and terrible than it had been before. All the slaves came out of their rooms. Calculus was also shocked. They all got out of the house and the streets. A lot of people came on the streets hoping to find out what was going on. I saw them talking furiously and standing on their feet looking at the distance. Far away, there was a bright and dazzling light at the top of the mountain of Vesuvius. I turned and saw people's faces, still and expressionless. After a short silence and pondering, people start to head back to their houses, saying, "It is time to leave as soon as possible." I stood still at the entrance of the house with some strange pressure in my head. I felt that was only the start of the disaster. The disaster finally arrived in the afternoon with brightest light I've ever seen. The dust was exploding from the mountain. The black cloud covered the blue skies and the sun. The city was packed with panic, the dust falling down from the air. After about 3 hours, the sky was nearly green and dark. The dust on the ground nearly reached the knees. We were still in the house. Calculus and his family members had already packed up and all his slaves were ready to leave. However, when we were all at the front door, ready to escape, the thick dust accumulating on the ground nearly reached my nose. The dust contained sand and some little hard rock. I was not able to move my leg in the dust at all. I stood still and looked at Calculus, and I could feel he realized the seriousness of the situation. Everyone stopped their feet and looked at each other. I knew it was impossible for me to get out of here and survive. If we all wanted to survive, one of them must carry me on the shoulder. It was extremely hard and slow to walk on the streets, let alone carry a big dog on the shoulder. Everyone moved their eyes from me and was waiting for Calculus to say what we should do next. Clearly, he knew what was going on and what would happen. Clemens came and whispered at Calculus' ear and said, "We have to abandon something to survive the disaster." Time is life. Every second, more and more dust were falling down, and the dust was getting thicker and thicker on the ground. I could hear the sound of the stones hitting the villa. I barked at Calculus and my family to beg them leave as soon as possible to escape for their lives. I walked several laps around them, began to head back to the house, passing through the fosses just like the first day I came to Calculus's house, quietly, with a little fear. At the Yanua, Calculus was hugging every family member and slaves. With tears in his eyes, he shouted them and waved hands at her wives. "Leave me alone as soon as possible, please." Following this instruction, all the family members stepped out of Yanua. They began their escaping, except Calculus. Calculus walked to me with hands on his face. He did not say anything since he shouted his family member to leave. He patted me in the atrium just like the first day I arrived. The difference was a loud noise was horrible and terrifying around both of us. We climbed to the top of the building. The dust was still falling down on the sky, and the smoke was everywhere. Both of us tried to look at the direction that our family was heading to. They must have already escaped from the neighborhood. We went down to an atrium. The Yanua was blocked by the dust on the street, and suddenly the ceiling cracked open and dust and cotton fell down with a huge noise and smoke. I could not find Calculus, and I couldn't see myself